I don't meet many people in life that don't want to accomplish great things with their life. Chances are, I bet you want to do the same thing. So today, let's talk about one of the greatest enemies to great accomplishments: hesitation. Welcome to our series of conversations called Frontlines Forward here on the Purpose Project. I am your host, Brandon Goff, and I'm excited that you're jumping on with me today. Here's the idea of this podcast and this journey is that we go on a journey of accomplishing all the things, all the purpose that God has put on the inside of us. Because here's what I know about you. God has put a big purpose in your life, and He wants to do great things with and through you. And my hope is that I can give you some things to consider, some things to execute, and some things to do in your life to help you get closer to the purpose God has for you. The series, Frontlines Forward, the idea is this, that every day we're going to work hard to move the front lines of our lives forward, closer to the purpose God has put within us. Now, last week and last episode, we talked about creating disciplines or rhythms in our lives, or moving the line. And what does that look like? We talked about the idea that the current disciplines and rhythms that we have in our lives are getting the current results that we're experiencing. So if we don't like the results, change the rhythms, change the disciplines. And we've taken that journey over the past few days. Today, I want to talk about one of the greatest enemies to accomplishing the purpose God has put on the inside of you. I love sports. I love competition. I love sports. I love doing anything like that. My favorite sport is football. I don't know why. I can't play it. I'm a small guy. I've just never been able to play, but I do love to play golf. Golf is one of my favorite sports to play. And many of you listening or watching probably enjoy golf as well. It's a sport that is just an individual sport. You're playing against yourself all the time. It's awesome. Well, my 14-year-old son has recently gotten into golf as well. I love this because it's an opportunity for us to spend some time together, have a lot of good laughs, a lot of good conversations on the golf course. I already love to play golf, so the fact that he enjoys it means a lot to me. But when you first start to learn golf, you have to first learn your swing. You have to learn what to do, what not to do, and you kind of have to figure out what your swing looks like. And so one of the lessons that we're talking about right now, keep in mind, my 14-year-old for years played high-level travel baseball, high-level baseball as he was growing up. He was good at baseball. He just decided he didn't want to play anymore. And so if you know anything about golf, you know that your baseball swing can ruin your golf swing, and your golf swing can ruin your baseball swing. So for years, I never let him play. But now that he's starting to figure out what his swing is in golf, and he's trying to get this baseball swing out. And one of the things that we're having to work through right now with his swing is not pausing or hesitating too long at what they call the top of the backswing. So as you pull the club back and it comes to the top of your backswing, I'm trying to get him not to pause too long right there, kind of like you would with a baseball bat. Because the danger in that is if you pause or hesitate too long at the top of your backswing, you can lose some power on your follow through. Now, transparency, some people, particularly pros, have figured out how sometimes they can pause at the top of their backswing and they can pick up momentum and power on the way through. Most people, that's going to hurt the power. It's going to hurt the follow through of their swing. For him, I don't want him to get into that habit unless he has to. Here's why. Hesitation can hurt and hinder power, or hesitation can kill progress. Last week, we spent the whole episode thinking and building and talking about disciplines. Disciplines that move us towards God's purposes in our lives. So today, I want to talk about eliminating the hesitation, eliminating the pause in your swing or in your life. If we can learn to eliminate hesitation, for many of us, we're going to make a lot of progress, and we're going to make it quickly, because we're going to learn how to make decisions that need to be made. We're not going to sit there and ruminate on them, and we're not going to sit there and think on, oh, well, I could have or I should have. No, we're going to make the decision. We're not going to hesitate. We're going to think it through. We're going to be responsible with it. But when the decision's made, we're going to make the decision, and we're going to move on. Maybe you've heard the phrase paralysis by analysis. Here's what it essentially means. It's a leadership phrase that kind of means you've essentially paralyzed movement in yourself, in your relationships, in your business, in whatever. You've paralyzed movements or decisions in your life because you're spending entirely too much time analyzing, and let's be honest, all right, over analyzing the solution or the situation. Now, let me say this off the beginning. This episode is not about not analyzing and not figuring out the right solution, not walking through every scenario. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about reckless decisions. What I am talking about is when it's time to come to the decision, we don't sit there and hesitate on pulling the trigger. We make the decision and we move forward. What many of us can do is we begin to overanalyze so much that we're analyzing our analyzation and our analysis of everything, and now we're paralyzed to movement simply because we're analyzing way too much. Usually, this is caused by fear or a belief in the myth that perfection is a reality. And yes, I know what I just said. Perfection being reality is a myth. Go ahead and eliminate it from your vocabulary, because the pursuit of perfection will cause more hesitation, which causes and kills the momentum of the movement that we're trying to make. It doesn't matter why many of us get caught in this paralysis by analysis. The truth remains. Hesitation will always impede your progress. Again, I'm not talking about analyzing the situation to make the right decision. I'm talking about when the decision is made, hesitating to make the decision. Because maybe we don't like confrontation. Maybe we don't like the result of it, whatever it looks like. I know, truthfully, there's a lot of people that are watching and listening, and there's so many different personalities that are represented in this audience. Some personalities lean towards slow analysis and lend to the idea of needing all the details first. Listen, I get that. I'm not against that. I like to know details as well. I don't like to be caught off guard a whole lot. But at some point, if we're going to make the decision, I will not be stuck. I'm going to move the line. I'm going to move the front lines forward. I'm going to make some rhythms and discipline shifts. I'm going to do what I need to do to move the lines forward in my life. We have to make the decision to stop hesitating. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting. Make the decision and let's go. Hesitation is so dangerous a lot of times because it gives us time. And honestly, if we're honest about this, it gives us time and reason to talk ourselves out of a decision we know that we should make. That's why a lot of the times we hesitate to make the decision anyway, because we want to buy time to convince ourselves that there's actually a reason not to do it. Here's a hint. You'll always find a reason not to do what you don't want to do. It's just there. Even if you don't want to do it, if it's the right decision, stop hesitating, do it. You know you should have the conversation with your spouse. The longer you wait, the more you'll probably not do it. You know you should make the decision to have that meeting and that conversation with your employee or your coworker. The longer you wait, maybe it'll fix itself and maybe you'll just ignore the problem because of other problems, which creates problems. You know you need to go to the gym and get more healthy and work out and get your body in shape. But we wait. I'll start Monday. I'll start next week. Why? The longer we wait, the more likely we'll never go. We put it off to hesitate, or it can also be called procrastination, because we know that we will convince ourselves that we probably shouldn't do it. The longer you hesitate, the quicker your momentum dies. See, we've built some momentum now. We're deciding, no, I'm moving things forward. I'm not going to be stuck. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to move things forward. I'm building some momentum. But the longer I hesitate on the decisions, the quicker the momentum will die. So here's a formula. Here's some thoughts to help you analyze just a little bit faster and make the decision a little bit quicker. Here's a thought. 1, create clarity around the decision. Create some clarity. What decision actually needs to be made? Have you ever had to make a decision and you make a decision on 15 other small details rather than the big one? What decision actually needs to be made? What decision are you searching for right now? And here's the kicker. Why? Why does that decision need to be made? Do I need to start going to the gym because the doctor told me to? If that's the case, I need to start going yesterday. Or do I need to have the conversation with my coworker because it's a problem with us personally, or there's a problem professionally? It doesn't matter. Just create some clarity around why the decision needs to be made and what decision needs to be made. What is the actual decision you're making, and how does it impact your life and theirs, especially if it involves somebody else? If you can clarify and you can create some clarity around the decision, around the vision, the purpose, and the why of the decision, it honestly will catapult you towards solutions and progress a whole lot faster. Because you're deciding, I'm not going to wait, I'm not going to hesitate, I'm not stopping at the top of the backswing, I'm making the decision, I know what needs to be made, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to move forward. Here's another thought. Number 2, make as detailed of a decision as possible. Make as detailed of a decision as absolutely possible. Now that there's some clarity, what decision needs to be made? Why does the decision need to be made? Now you need to clarify what needs to be done. Make a detailed decision. What does this decision entail? What, if you're making this decision professionally, what other departments does it affect? Relationally, what other people does it affect? If it's just you, what rhythms and disciplines does it affect? Do you need to have a conversation? Do you need to fire the employee? Do you need to change your mentality and scope of thinking on something? Do you need to write up a report and come back to it? What's the decision, clarity, and why is that the decision? And then make it as detailed as possible. Number 3, execute the decision. So you've created clarity, right? You're making detailed decisions on the decision. Now execute the decision. Stop waiting. When the decision's made, when you know what decision needs to be made, get moving. Get moving. Put it down and make it happen. You need a meeting? Great. Make the appointment immediately. You need to come back to the decision and have another meeting and conversate about that? Put it on the calendar. Do you need a proposal from someone so that you can make the most informed decision possible? Great. Get on your email right now, send the email and ask for the proposal with a due date and an explanation of what you need. When you make the decision, set the details of execution into place immediately. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the quicker you kill momentum. And the last thought is this. Number 4, move on. You've made the decision. Move on. Keep going. Your time is the most precious currency that you have. It's the only thing, it's the only currency that you have in your life that you'll only spend once and you can never get back. Spend it wisely. Move on. Stop wasting time on, I should have said this, or I should have done that, or maybe this could have happened, or maybe that could have. No, make the decision to the best of your ability, get detailed on it, execute it, and then move on. You have too much potential, you have too much purpose in your life to waste your time on things of what could have been. Make the decision and move on. Keep working, keep going, keep moving the front lines forward. If you battle with hesitation too much in your life, I just want to encourage you, make some small decisions quickly. So let me give you this challenge. If hesitation's a real battle for you, procrastination, hesitation, a paralysis by analysis, however you want to say it, right? If that's a real thing for you, I want to encourage you, make some small decisions really fast over the next week. Like, okay, if you know you need to make the decision on fitness, make the small decision to walk a half a mile 3 times over the next week. Small decision, very quickly. What it does is it almost does a muscle memory of, this is my swing now, going back to the illustration of my son. This is my swing. I'm not going to hesitate. I know what I need to do. I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to make it now. I'm not going to pause. I'm not going to hesitate. I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to make it quickly, and we're going to start moving on the rhythm and the discipline like we talked about in the last episode. We're going to move on that fast so that we can move forward. When you begin to move forward from that, you'll experience the freedom of ending the hesitation curse. Hesitation is often bred from insecurity. Next episode is all about how can we move forward with confidence. I hope you'll join me on the next episode. Here's what I want you to remember this week. You were created for a purpose. You can do more than you think you can, and you matter. So let's get after it this week. Let's move the front lines forward. I'll see you again soon.